Hi there, it's Bayer here, and I'm the founder of QuietExperts.com and the creator of the Quiet Experts method for introvert entrepreneurs online who offer their knowledge, their wisdom, their experience, or their expertise to solve a major business or a major life problem for their ideal clients. Now, if you're an introvert entrepreneur, this is something you're going to want to listen to. I've just concluded a mastery session from the Quiet Experts method program, and one of the themes that came out across the board from people that are seasoned, if you like, although steak is the only thing that's really seasoned, but who are veterans in the field, and from people who are more entry to mid-level. And the question focused on one theme, and that is about engaging, capturing, and converting ideal people or businesses into premium clients. Now, even those who don't offer premium products, premium services that range in the 5, 7, or 10,000, they also had the same issue. So what I'm about to discuss with you right now will benefit you whether or not you work with premium clients or you just work with clients in general. Maybe you offer information products or online courses. When it comes to the challenge of engaging, capturing, and converting ideal prospects and leads into clients, the reason why it's not happening for a lot, and I mean a lot of introvert coaches, consultants, and other type of experts, is down to 4 things. Number 1, the inability to get attention of those who you want to gain their attention. Number 2, the inability to turn that attention into interest. Number 3, not being believable, and therefore people don't follow through, or your inability to get the lead to believe that they don't believe you. So if you can get the results or not, it's not even going to be a question, but not being able, and this is the 4th point, to communicate that you can help that lead get the results they're looking for. When I started out in business, which is ages ago, and just imagine a young person tired of 9 to 5, knowing that I can really do things. I can change lives, because back then I was in personnel, HR, and training. I knew that I could step out and actually impact a lot more people if I was an independent freelancer. And I went out there and I bust my gut. Well, you do know my story probably, and if you followed me for any amount of time, that I failed within the first 3 times within the first 5 years. And the reasons that I failed are still the reasons why people are still failing today, as certified coaches, consultants, masters at what they do, and other type of experts. It is those 4 points that I've just mentioned: the inability to get attention, inability to get interest, not being believable or trustworthy, and finally, people not believing that you can get them the results that you can get them. So it's not a question of whether you can get people results or not through using your method, but you haven't convinced the people how to do that. So let me just give you a quick method, a quick way that you need to do that. And in order for me to do that, I'm going to use the Quiet Experts method for introvert entrepreneurs online, which you can see on the screen. So the very first thing you've got to do, and you might want to write this down, is to have a visual representation of what you do. That is the very most important thing that I can say to you. And even if you left right now and listen to nothing else, just doing that alone is going to allow you to stand head and shoulders. I know that you're an introvert, you might not like that type of visibility, but remember, hey, you're in business. So the first thing you've got to do is have a visual representation of what the transformation that you offer, what you offer. It's a noisy world out there, and you're not an extrovert. And therefore, unless you've got some extraordinary superpowers, it's very unlikely that you can go shoulder to shoulder with an extrovert and talk your way into a client, a lead becoming a client. Extroverts, they love it. They love being on video. They love being right out there. And I often joke that, the first thing you can tell an extrovert when you, the opening part of a video is, hey guys, hey, what's up? Those are the traits and hallmarks of extroverts. Now, we are not built that way. We don't have that sort of dynamic energy. Doesn't mean we're any lesser, but that's just not the way that we are built. And so you've got to do things that work. And one of the things that really works very well, that I've used for years and years, and that I teach and coach people that they've gone on to be successful with, is having a visual representation of what you do, the transformation you offer, and what it looks like. Now imagine I was talking to you right now and I didn't show you this method, this Quiet Experts method. I could talk about it until I got bored, but it still wouldn't have the same impact as me showing it to you right now. And the reason I'm showing it to you is because that issue of getting attention, one of the ways to solve it that works is to show people how you can help them rather than just tell them. And so I'm showing you my Quiet Experts method here. You might have seen it before. If you haven't, well, welcome to the world of introvert entrepreneurs online. And what this effectively allows me to do is say to people, I understand that you have problems as an introvert entrepreneur, coach or consultant or other type of expert. I know you have problems somewhere going from figuring out what you need to do at the start of your business all the way to actually having premium clients. Okay. So I'm attracting them. Then I use this same method to generate interest. And the way that I do this, that you should do it too, if you have your visual model, is to talk about what actually any particular part of this that you're using as your content item, your content piece, the transformation that it's going to deliver. So just to be clear, it's about getting people's attention, which is just getting them to stop. And attention is not the same thing as interest. You can get my attention through your website or through an ad, but I might just look at it, but as it goes into 3 seconds, 5 seconds later, I feel I'm not interested. Attention is the first step, and getting them to take a further step because of the interest is the next thing that needs to happen. When I've got your attention and I've got your interest, then in the Quiet Experts method, there's this piece here, which is about instant credibility. Instant credibility is about me communicating to you that I'm trustworthy, I'm believable. And by the way, I answered this question during today's session as well. Credibility has nothing to do with how long you've been in business. Credibility is basically and essentially about believability. You don't need to have been in business for 20 years, for 10 years, for 5 years. You could be starting out right now and still build instant credibility by what you do. And that, by the way, is one component of the Quiet Experts method, the program for introvert coaches, consultants, and experts. It's about saying, you've downloaded my lead magnet. Now I'm going to show you something which is on your part as the expert, is establishing instant credibility status in the eyes of that person. So we've got the fact that everything you say, everything you do, everything you publish has to get attention. It has to get interest, and it has to communicate your credibility and believability. And I've just proven to you that you don't need to have been in business for decades to do that. Okay, what's the final thing? Well, coming back to the Quiet Experts method, if I showed you all of this, even though we can't cover it all here, and that's not the purpose of this live session, but even if I couldn't show you all this, at least to some degree, I've shown you that it's not just if you became or when you become part of this program, that we're not just going to be doing random things. We're going to take a very structured approach. We're going to set the pillars in place. These are fundamentally the things that you will build everything else on. That's what the pillars is about. It's from looking at the problem you want to solve, whom you want to solve it for, how you communicate what you communicate so that it resonates with those you need it to resonate with, and then finally your solution. That's what your pillars are about. Positioning is all about you being positioned properly in the eyes of those you want to serve, and then presence is also about having a presence in the eyes of those you want to serve. Now, even if you didn't go through the whole of this thing, you know right now that there's a high likelihood that if you diligently went through all of these different program steps, you would know the problem you solve, who you want to solve it for, you'd know how to communicate that, you'd know how to visually represent your system, how to generate leads, how to establish your instant credibility, which path you need to take people down based on, whatever it is you're offering them. You'd know how to go about getting eyeballs or traffic to your site or to your offer, to whatever it is you have. You know how to create content that converts, and you know that you'd have a one-page marketing plan that covers 30 days. And with all of this in place, you would be confident that you can take people using your system. This is my system, so using your system from point A to point B. That is the power of having a visual model. So look at it this way, that having a visual model is going to help you reduce the amount of the effort that it's going to take for you to actually be able to get people to understand that you can help them. So that's it for this session, answering the question, what is it that I can do if I don't want to put myself out there, so as to speak? I don't want to do things that really make me very uncomfortable, but I still know that I've got to engage, I've got to capture, and I've got to convert qualified leads into premium clients. Well, that's what I've just explained to you. Number one, you've got to have your visual model. Okay. Number two, you've got to make sure that everything you do follows the principles. Is it for attention grabbing? Is it for generating interest? Is it for establishing my credibility or believability? Or is it, fourth and finally, to help that lead convince themselves in their mind that I can help them with the solution that I'm offering? Now, if you have any questions about this at all, as usual, feel free to reach out to me. You might have a challenge, an issue somewhere within your model. I'll certainly be happy to help you as much as I can. But remember, it's not about how long you've been in business. It's not about being loud. It's not about being, you have to be highly motivated, of course, but it's not about any of those things. It's about showing rather than telling, and making sure that what you're showing essentially has all of those four key components. Now, I hope you found this useful. If you have any questions at all, or there's anything you want to ask me, certainly feel free, and I'll be happy to help. But until next time, it's been Bayer here. Thank you and goodbye.